Okay, you guys. So I am being a fatty, laying my butt down, but um, I was talking to some of my relatives, and which I hadn't spoken to in a long time, and I was telling them, excuse me, I was telling them about my accomplishments. Well, let me rewind it back. First, they tried to reach out to me because of some things that happened to my mom. This guy recorded her when she hasn't been on her medication for like about, I'm gonna say, a week or so. She's been having a lot of withdrawal symptoms. Um, Not only that, when you get off of medication, even if you don't have a mental illness, if you've been on a medication for a long time and you suddenly take yourself off of it, you're going to have withdrawal systems. So, on top of not having the proper medication that she's supposed to have, she's having these withdrawal systems and she's trying to cope with regular life. So, she gets on the bus because she's tired of waiting on someone to pick her up and to take her to where she needs to go. And she gets on there and tries to go, where she needs to go. And she has an altercation with the bus driver. It gets really out of hand, and this guy uh, just records it. He said he was told by the police to record, so he recorded it, which anyhow, I found out that the police officer, him and the police officer are related. So, and I know the police officer very well. So he recorded it as he was asked, and he posted it on Facebook. Not only that, he during the video he added in his comments that this woman is dingbat crazy. A lot of slurs and things that affected my mom once she got back into her stable state. Um, Not only that, it affected me because when you know how mental illness works and what people go through, it takes you on a whole nother spectrum. It brings you to a whole different level of awareness. So, um, yeah. Anyhow, so because of that, I made a video and I explained what was going on because they were only seeing one side, um, and basically, um, my mom was getting ridiculed. She was getting, she's reaching out for help, but she's getting ridiculed and ostracized because of her mental illness. Instead of, um, getting the help that she needs. So I made a video and I talked about it, and just to not to bash anyone, not to make light of the situation because it's definitely not light, and I just shedded light on the situation. Letting people know and understand some things. Um, and my family reached out after that. So they started, try to contact me. But anyhow, these couple, it wasn't even just two, it was a couple of individuals, which were my family, came and they wanted to tell me, oh, they're so proud of me of making, this video, and as if I cared. Let me tell you, as if I cared, because if you really cared about what was going on and what I was going through, you would come and check on me. Not when things are just bad, but when things are good, or when things you haven't heard from me. It's no way that I have to reach out to you all the time. That's not how relationships go. And I don't give a care if it's a family or a parent daughter relationship, mother father, parents child relationship, sibling relationship, any type of relationship. It takes at least two. With me, it takes three because I say God got to be in every relationship that I'm in. Otherwise, it's void and null, null and void. Because um, sometimes I can't deal with you, and sometimes you're not gonna be able to deal with me. So um, yeah. So anywho, they call me and they're like, having this whole big, sob story like, oh, and all this you've been through and blah 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 blah. And I just was like, okay, Bill, you know what's going on. You know how, certain people work. You know the dynamic of your family. You know what's going on. So just bring light to the situation. So I brought on some things on a positive note. Like, yes, I'm still working on this thing, this project, dealing with my mom. It is not a rat race. This thing takes a lot of work. It took a lot of work for me to be worked on. Um, it took a lot of work, not just for her, like I said, for me, because of the mandate. When you're dealing with people, it's it's a level of expectation, a level of dignity and respect, and a level of education. Not only that education that you need to get in order to properly adjust and to properly serve these people. You can have the heart to do it, but if you don't have the resources and the proper utensils, you're making their lives even worse. You're not going to be able to be fully equipped to assist and assess in that situation. So I brought that to the awareness, that I had worked on myself to become better, to doing this, as far as education wise, I graduated. You know, um, I didn't really think of it as a huge milestone. I thought of it as finally I got this over. Even though I know I have to go back and get more education because you never stop learning. You really do. Even if you don't get a certificate, one thing I learned, you never stop learning. So yeah, and I expressed that to them, and their whole thing was like, yeah, I don't want to hear that, whatever. But they kept just dwelling on the bad things, dwelling on everything that was bad. I mean, every single thing. They're talking about my past, when I was a kid, when I was dumped in a trash can. But you can't acknowledge the accomplishment of me, you know, defying the odds that were projected on me, because they were literally projections. Um, and that I made things turn around into a positive. Not one time. Not one time. And it brought me to this conclusion, okay? I always say that you cannot change how people see you. You cannot change how people view you. You cannot. You cannot change how people treat you. But you can, and I will, change how it affects my life. I can and I will change how much of that time that you get. I can and I will make happy situations and happy directives in my life. I can and I will